the first gifts ever recorded were economic well-being, peace and beauty, and the gift of health. That's the symbolism, in addition to the spiritual significance of those three gifts. And so those are three things I think we'd all like, right? Economic well-being, peace and beauty, and the gift of health. And so with that today, I want to talk about this whole dynamic of gift, something that's given willingly to another. And so we're going to talk about the gift of giving. We're going to talk about giving of yourself and giving of your gifts. And even though this is a shorter episode today, I still have 3 points for you. So let's talk about it. The joy of giving. For me personally, other than marrying my wife and seeing my children and grandchildren being born, nothing in my life brings me more joy than giving. Throughout my career, doing events, I always love to surprise the audience with a speaker would come and I'd have the gift of a book, or I would do certain performances that would surprise people. We had our mastermind summit, which you talk about a great gift. I certainly hope you folks are going to join me in San Diego this August, just for 2 days of the greatest personal growth seminar you've ever been to. And we've done this for 24 years. But I've done different routines. I've come out with my good friend Joe Nego, and we reprised the Blues Brothers, and we had a band, and we sang the songs and did the dance routines. I did the river dance with Beverly and my 2 oldest kids, and we had an actual cast of river dance dancers behind, and we did a whole Irish performance. It took 8 months to learn how to Irish dance, and the other 3 did very well. I looked like I was stomping cockroaches, but people loved it, and it was all in. And so there's been lots of things like that I've done over myself. And what I will say is giving is a beautiful thing. I mean, for me, I look for reasons to give. An overly generous tip for good service, and to generally be a blessing every single day, and that is something that brings me joy. I've made it a lifestyle and a daily routine. Now, like all gifts, like all beautiful things, we live in a world today it's just every gift has a curse. And so there's warning labels to gift. There's a reason why it's not always a joy. There's a reason why it can be sometimes salty or difficult. Sometimes giving can create improper expectations. Sometimes people will presume on your generosity. And sometimes it can even create dependency. In his book, Toxic Charity by Robert Lupton, he talks about the 5 steps to dependency. He says if you give something to somebody once, they appreciate it. If you give the same thing to that person again, they'll anticipate that you're going to do it a 3rd time. And if you do it a 3rd time, they're going to have the expectation that you'll do it a 4th. And if you do it a 4th, then they feel entitled to it. And a 5th time, they're dependent on you for it. And if you give with the expectation of receiving in return, you can often be disappointed. And I'd say even in receiving thanks in today's culture, I would say, and this is not a get off my lawn moment, I really, really, the number one thing I believe I give every day is give people thanks. I like to appreciate people. I like to thank them. I'm not an easy guy to work for. I'm very demanding. I'm very driven. I have a big schedule. I push people. But I also appreciate people at every hand's turn for the job well done and when they do well. And I like to reward people and thank them and encourage them. But I'll also tell you that sometimes when you're giving, you can be disappointed because you'll give and someone, please and thank you is just a rarer thing nowadays. And that's why when you do it, it stands out so much more. And that's why, it's not like, oh, why can't everybody else do it? Is that for me in my house, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it regardless of the response. I'm going to give regardless of the response. I'm going to give joyfully because I'm doing it willingly. And so if you do it from a selfless perspective, because the joy is in the giving itself, the goal is to be a blessing to others, and you just are at peace with that, then it's amazing what does happen. And I'll share some of the upside here in a minute. But just to be aware, right? It's not all happiness. Joy is different than that. Thanks for watching. If you want more tips on how to think, feel, and do better, check out these videos too. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like if you enjoyed the content.